United States President Donald Trump recently decided that the Gulf of Mexico should be renamed the Gulf of America. This move was meant to restore American pride, but it mostly just achieved that the rest of the world sees him as an idiot. Everyone except the US still uses the name Gulf of Mexico, and while the whole thing might seem like a trivial matter, it's just a name, right? Changing geographical names has sparked political disputes and even conflicts between countries many times before. Take, for example, the recent dispute over the name of North Macedonia. In 1991, Macedonia broke away from the collapsing Yugoslavia and adopted the name Republic of Macedonia. But Greece wasn't happy about that at all, because Macedonia refers to a much larger historical region, and Greece saw the new state's name as a theft of its cultural heritage. To make things more complicated, one of Greece's own regions is also called Macedonia, and Greece feared that the Republic of Macedonia might one day make territorial claims on it. Because of that, Greece questioned the new state's legitimacy and only recognized it in 1993 when the country adopted the compromise name Former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. Even then, Greece wasn't entirely satisfied and still felt its cultural heritage was being threatened. It blocked Macedonia's attempts to join NATO and the European Union. Finally, in 2018, the two countries reached a compromise and the state was renamed Republic of North Macedonia. This new name clearly geographically distinguishes the country North Macedonia from the Greek region and makes it clear that it's not a direct successor to ancient Macedonia. After the name change was approved, North Macedonia began its accession process to both NATO and the EU. This dispute had a happy ending, but the same can't be said for the next one. The Falkland Islands lie about 500 kilometers east of Argentina, but they belong to the United Kingdom. Argentina calls them Las Malvinas and insists they should be under Argentine control. In 1982, the two countries even went to war over the islands. In the end, Britain won, reaffirming its sovereignty. The UK has controlled the Falklands since 1833, and nearly all of the island's inhabitants consider themselves British, which was confirmed in a 2013 referendum. 99.8% voted to remain part of the UK. Argentina, however, hasn't learned its lesson and still refuses to recognize the British control, insisting to this day that the Falklands are actually Las Malvinas and belong to them. To this day, disputes continue over the name of this gulf. For over 2,000 years, most of the world has called it the Persian Gulf. But in the 1950s and 60s, as Arab nationalism grew, Arab countries decided to call it the Arabian Gulf instead. Iran strongly rejected this change, and nearly all non-Arab countries still call it the Persian Gulf or simply use the neutral term, the Gulf. The disagreement became clear in 2010 when Iran hosted the Islamic Solidarity Games, basically an Islamic version of the Olympics. The medals had a map engraved on them that labeled it the Persian Gulf, which led all Arab countries to boycott the games. Another name dispute involves the body of water between Japan and the Koreas. Internationally, it's called the Sea of Japan, but both North and South Korea object to that name because Japan introduced it during its occupation of Korea. The Koreas have proposed new names, like the Korean Sea, the East Sea, the Sea of Peace, or even the Sea of Friendship. The last naming conflict I'll mention is about the country known as Myanmar, which is also widely called Burma. Burma was a British colony from the 19th century, and it was named after the region's majority ethnic group, the Burmans. In 1948, Burma gained independence, and in 1962, a military junta seized power. After brutally crushing anti-government protests in 1988, the junta decided to change the country's name to Myanmar, claiming it better reflected the nation's ethnic diversity, unlike Burma, which referred only to the Burman people. Sure, it sounds nice, but don't be fooled. In Burmese language, Myanmar is just the more formal version of Burma. They literally mean the same thing. Most Western countries and the domestic opposition initially refused to use Myanmar, continuing to say Burma as a form of protest against the military regime. Over time, however, the name Myanmar became more commonly used internationally, and even the country's first democratically elected leader, Suu Kyi, adopted it. In 2021, when the military junta seized power again, the United States reverted to calling the country Burma as a form of protest once again. So, what do you think? Should we call it Burma or Myanmar? Let me know down in the comments. Be sure to check out one of my other videos and see you next time.